Hey guys, welcome back to the Cash Flow Talk. Today I'm honored to have one of my good friends, Juan Rojas. He's a real estate broker, and I have a great story about him, how I started in real estate investing, and I'll share with you in a few minutes. Juan, how are you, brother?
I'm doing awesome, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you for spending a few minutes with me. I'll try to keep it under 15, 20 minutes, but there's so much value and information that I wanted to grab from you. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Sure, sounds good. I'm excited to have this conversation. You know, I think the only thing I'm not so sure that we're gonna be able to keep it down to 15 or 20 minutes because
Oh man, we can talk for hours. I know that. We can talk for hours.
Exactly.
So
anyway, I'm
Juan,
excited to be here, man.
Awesome. Thanks for being with me, man. So Juan, in 60 seconds, 1 minute, who are you? What do you do? Tell me a little bit about you.
So I'm a real estate broker in Miami. We work in Dade and Broward primarily. I'm actually doing a deal in Palm Beach right now, but I've been in real estate for full time for the last 13 years, since 2006. Once I got into real estate, I started as an investor as well, probably pretty much like you, buying, fixing, and selling and flipping and doing wholesales since 2006. And I jumped in, head first. I quit my job, and I've been doing this full time ever since. That's pretty much what I do. My team and I help people buy, sell, and rent properties quickly with little hassle and for the best price. And that's what we're doing.
Awesome, man. I have a great experience, and I talked about it in the introduction. Let me share it with you. Who are you for me? And I'm forever going to be grateful for you. Many people that know my story, they know that I started in real estate. One day that something that made my decision to jump into real estate was when I was reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad game. I don't know if you remember that. We were going to the Cash Flow 101 games with our good friend Frank, and I met you one of the days. You were sitting on my right. We were playing a Cash Flow 101 game, and you said, guys, I do this for a living. Like, if you're interested in deals, these type of stuff, we can get the cash flow, we can get the properties, and we can do this for a living. And a few months later, I said, Juan, what if I quit my job on Tuesdays and I start working with you or for you for free, and just you share with me everything that you share me with some value and information, and I just work with you for a few hours every week for free. You just teach me, just give me some feedback. Man, I will forever be grateful for that. That's how I actually got started in real estate. So thank you, my friend.
Absolutely, man. No, that was awesome. And I'll tell you, I mean, I've seen how you've developed in terms of real estate and you and Michelle. And I mean, we definitely go, way back. I think we probably met in, I don't know if it was, it was a while back, but I don't know if it was 2009 that you were coming over, to my house, and you were, kind of shadowing me. And I was telling you, how to find deals, how to promote deals, how to find buyers, how to put together your list of buyers, how to find, potential motivated sellers. And to your credit, because I've worked with a lot of realtors, and I've worked with a lot of investors and a lot of people that say that they want to do something. I always say that, real estate and I guess entrepreneurship, and to me, it's a lot like fitness, Okay. Everyone says that they want to lose weight. Everyone says that they want to get in shape. Everyone says that they want to go and, and do a 5K, a 10K, run a marathon, do a triathlon. But the truth is, everyone says that, and on Sunday nights they're excited. They have their shoes ready, their workout gear ready, and by Monday they do it. And then Tuesday, maybe they show up again. By Wednesday they get there late. By Thursday something happened, and long story short is, I would say more than 90% of people drop out. And you actually follow through. And so, to your credit, and to anyone who's watching you, I would tell them to listen to what you're telling them, because you've done it. And I can attest to that he started, literally just sitting next to me, watching me on the computer, do comps and analyze properties. We were actually talking about this the other day, and you were telling me how you do it a little bit different now. And, things change. It's been, more than, 10 years. Technology changes, the systems change, the way, real estate works changes. So, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how you guys started.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yes, you simplified the business of real estate or especially wholesaling in one sentence. I'm sure you don't remember, but it's something, sometimes you grab little things that stick to you. And one of the things that you told me when I was working with you or for you or whatever time it was, hey, a wholesaler is simple, just connecting people, connect buyers, sellers, and money, and you get paid on every transaction. You told me that once. I put it on my notes, and I still remember like it was yesterday. I remember like where I was sitting and everything, and I still remember that thing. And many times when my checks stop coming, or when the business slows down, I think about that. I think about, hey, simplify. This is simple. Just connect people. That's all I need to do. That's all my people need to do. That's all every realtor, every wholesaler, every bank lender, whatever, all they need to do is connect people. Who has the money? Other people. So if you connect, you told me one day, so make a buyer's list, make a seller's list, and make a money list. Just start connecting everybody, and checks just still will start showing up. So that was great, man. I am forever grateful for that. The first time that I helped you rent a property, you sent me a $200 check with a little note saying, I'll see you at the top. I still have it with me.
I probably did. I still do that for my agents. Yes.
Love it, man. Love it.
You know, things that, real estate is awesome. Real estate is it's just, I mean, again, we can talk about this, for hours on end.
I know. So, hey, I have a set of questions here that I wanted to get to. Before I get to the business and the entrepreneurial side of you, tell me a little bit about real estate. What's your experience being an expert for 13 years? Where do you see the market going in the next 2 years and the next 5 years? What do you see here?
So right now, I mean, we're having this conversation in 2018. So, I mean, for anyone that is either just brand new to real estate or maybe doesn't understand, a little bit of context, but basically, 2000 was around here, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that was the peak, right? 2008, I got in 2006. And then 2007 was the peak, 2008, everything fell apart. 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And we're again towards the top. But I think the market today, in my opinion, and a lot, most other people who have been in real estate for not just for one cycle, but who have been in it for at least, the last, 10 years or more since the last market crash, I think they all can attest to the same thing. And it's that the prices definitely have gone up. That's pretty obvious, but we're not expecting the real estate prices to crash again like they did in 2008. I mean, I just wrote an article, for the Miami Herald recently, and we're, talking exactly about this because, I get a lot of questions from my agents and buyers where they're asking me, should I buy now or wait, right? Retail buyers, people that are looking to buy, their first home, their second home, right? Even investors. And so, right now the prices I think are leveling off, right? That the rate of appreciation that had happened for the last, 6, 7 years, that was 10, 15+% year over year. That was great, but that's not normal. That's, the average standard, just super basic real estate market across the country, right? Because Miami is a whole different animal. But, the normal real estate market, the level of appreciation is, between 3 and 5%. That's normal, right? A little bit at a time. This, boom that we've seen for the last few years was fantastic, but really it's not normal. So I think, prices are just leveling off. We do think that interest rates are going to go up again. Okay. Interest rates are still super cheap, again, historically speaking. Right? People can still get a mortgage, around 5, 5.5, 30-year fixed. So, if you're a first-time buyer, that's, as an investor, of course, you're going to pay a little bit more. But you have to remember, back in the 80s, people were buying with, interest rates in the, well over 15%, 16, 17, 18%. And that was normal back then. So, paying 5, 6% for a 30-year fixed mortgage today is still cheap. Yes. It is a little bit more expensive than the dirt cheap prices from 2, 3 years ago. Yeah, but it's still, historically speaking, it's still very cheap money.
Awesome. So tell yeah, that was actually my next question. You sent a an article to you got an article published in the Miami Herald, which is called "Buy Your Home Now or Wait," and I'm going to post the link if anybody wants to read it. I read it; it's very easy reading and it's amazing. And based on that report, what's your opinion? Should people, let's say I'm a regular person, regular customer, regular person who has a 9 to 5 job or small business, should I buy where I live in or should I rent where I live in? Because there's two different, so many people think about, I can ask this question to 100 people and probably 50% of the people will say buy, 50% of people will say rent. And I have my opinion. What's your opinion?
I think it really depends. So I say that it depends because it depends on 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 people's goals. So I think your goals and my goals are very similar, and our goals are to get out of the rat race and to stay out of the rat race, right?
Right.
So I don't think you're particularly interested in maybe living a fancy, luxurious lifestyle where you have to spend I don't know, $20,000 a month to maintain that lifestyle, right?
Right.
So what do I mean? If there's somebody, for example, that's, that maybe what they want is to live the lifestyle of, let's say, Brickell, right? And, live in a high rise and have that type of lifestyle. And they're just maybe a young professional in that area. The truth is that it's going to be cheaper to rent than it is to buy.
Right.
But if somebody, is like you and I, and they're looking for, again, their goal is to get out of the rat race and to stay out of the rat race, then chances are they're going to, live in a decent neighborhood, maybe not something super luxurious, but something that's, more middle class. The book that comes to mind is The Millionaire Next Door.
Next Door, yeah.
Right. The truth is that it's just not very fancy, right? It's not very flashy. It's not like what you see in Instagram, right? The Lamborghinis and the penthouses and Kylie Jenners of the world and Kim Kardashians of the world and LeBron Jameses of the world, and that's all great. But the truth is that that's not how you get out of the rat race. The way you get out of the rat race is you live a decent, comfortable lifestyle, but you keep your expenses as low as possible until your passive income exceeds your expenses, and then with your passive income, then you start increasing your lifestyle, right? Exactly. You go from driving, I don't know, a Honda Civic to having your rentals pay for your Mercedes, right? Exactly. And so that's like everything that I do is always like through that. Through that perspective, right? So I guess for the average person, right, I definitely think that it's better to own than to rent. If you just do the math, if you own something, if you buy something today, yes, it might be a little bit more expensive up front in terms of the down payment, closing costs, etc. But in the long term, what you gain in appreciation, right, of that property, plus you paying down your mortgage, plus the tax benefits of writing off your property taxes, your interest, plus the sense of pride that comes from owning your own, owning where you live, right? Whether it's 1-bedroom condo or or a 4-2 single family house with a pool for your family. The sense of pride that comes from that is really an intangible, but it translates to everything else that happens in your life. If you have kids, your kids are probably not going to verbalize it, but they're going to know that that's our house, right? Correct. That's just, they're going to invite their friends over to our house. And that's different from, having to move every couple of years because, the landlord decided to sell the house because now you have to go somewhere else. Now you have to, move to a different school. And I mean, I know that from experience because I went through, there was a time, I think I went through like 8 or 9 different schools growing up, and it's because we just never owned our own home. And so for me, that's, again, I mean, there's a lot of context behind my thinking, but just the math doesn't lie.
Correct. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So tell me, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Give me short answers because they're going to be more about entrepreneurship and being a business owner and goals and mindset and all of these. What is your biggest goal?
What is my biggest goal? So, I'm not sure that I have one single specific goal. But what comes to mind is, I was actually thinking about this. I know, you sent me some of the questions in advance, just so I could maybe think about them. But what comes to mind, what it actually just, it's always kind of in the back of my mind is, I don't know if you've heard of a guy named W. Clement Stone.
No.
He wrote a book. He was like if you've heard of like Napoleon Hill, Og Mandino, he was the grandfather of them.
Wow.
Right? He was the original guy.
Okay.
And so he wrote a book called The Success System That Never Fails. It's an audio, it's an Audible, and I know you're huge on learning like I am. And the thing that I love about this guy is I want to be like him, right? Because he started from nothing and he built a multi-million-dollar business. I think he was worth something like $500 million. And he lived to be 100. And he was married to the same woman all his life for like 80 years. That to me is success. If that's about as good as it gets. So my goal is to get as close as I can to that.
Awesome.
That's pretty much it.
Awesome. What's your passion in life?
My passion is I love learning. I think I love books. Today if you ever hear me say that I read a book, I probably didn't actually read it. I probably heard it in audio, like while I was running or working out or training or doing something like that. So I love learning. I'm huge on personal development. I think that I'm like an eternal optimist. I think that anyone can achieve any goal that they've set for themselves. And so my passion is learning, and then like applying it to my life, and I don't always get it perfect, but then teaching others how to help them accomplish their goals, because it's really not as hard as it takes time, right? Which I think a lot of people just forget about that and they take it for granted, but it's a process. It takes time, but you can pretty much achieve anything that you set your mind to.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Actually, my last question was going to be if you could recommend the book, which one would it be? But you already recommended a couple. But if you were to recommend one really good book, what would it be?
It's funny that you asked that, because so I have a 15-year-old now. Actually, he's 14. He's going to turn 15 tomorrow. And, even since he was little, I always had in my mind that I was going to have like this stack of books that I was going to start having him read as he was growing up. And I was just going to tell him, just read this, right? And hope that like through my example, he would trust that they were important and valuable, and that he should just accept them and read them and take them. And so, there's so many books, but one that comes to mind is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Okay.
I don't know if you've read it.
I've heard about it, but I have a long list of books to read. So
yeah, The Compound Effect is awesome.
And I'm the type of reader that I don't like to read a whole book in like 2 weeks. I like to read like a chapter a day and then apply it the next day. So I think about that chapter. So it takes me a while for me to finish a book, not because I can't read more, but I want to actually apply what I learn. I want to take one thing out of that chapter and apply it the next day and think about it and maybe write down some notes. And if it's in audio, it's the same thing. So it takes for me a while. And sometimes they're even that good that I have to read it 2 or 3 times. So it takes me a while to go through an entire book, but I digest it very, very well. And I get it to practice. So that's why I haven't probably read so many books, but I think that's really actually the best approach, because I think what happens to a lot of people is that, they take in a lot of information, but they don't actually apply anything. Exactly.
So like one of the things, like my son was asking me, he's just now into high school, and he was telling me, some time back, he's like, how do I like, I need to improve my my study habits, right? Like, how do I get better? I need to get better at studying. And I thought about it, and I think it's about focus. And the focus sometimes it's not so much about taking more in, but about like leaving things out. So, like I see on YouTube, for example, like one of the things that I'm doing now, that I've been doing actually for like the last few months, is that YouTube is crazy because there's just endless amounts of information, motivational videos. I mean, you name it, you can find it there, from relationships to sales tactics to negotiations to how to make $1 million to how to start invest in stock. It's just like it's endless. But so what I've been doing for the last few months is that Monday through pretty much Saturday, I only watch or listen to real estate stuff. And then if I find something that's good on YouTube, then I'll add it to like my watch later list, right? And then on the weekends, like when I'm going for a run or something like that, then I'll listen to other things. But like Monday through Saturday, I try to focus only on real estate, because I think for people that are starting out, that are new to real estate or to anything, what they lack is focus. Is they start taking in, is again, I go back to like the fitness. If somebody's trying to lose weight and they'll start, let's say, doing yoga, right? The thing is that they usually are not going to do yoga for 90 days. They'll do yoga for like a day or 2 or 6 maybe, and then they'll see a video on YouTube on P90X or CrossFit or a Spartan race or running or a triathlon, and then they start jumping from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and before you knew it, they never actually finished any one thing. So, with real estate and entrepreneurship, it's the same thing. Like, I see it all the time. They try real estate, but hey, you know what? Amazon drop shipping is also good. And you know what? Trading stocks is also good, and Forex. And did you hear about Bitcoin? And before you knew it, they just didn't actually do anything. So, the one thing that I'll give myself credit for in real estate is that when I started in real estate, I was all in completely. I literally quit my job. And, the truth is, for the first, several months, I had nightmares. And all my nightmares were about going back to go get a job.
Wow.
I had like a recurring nightmare. This is a true story. You can ask my wife. I had a recurring nightmare for months, probably for about a year, where my fear was, what if this doesn't work? What if I can't make money and I have to go get a job? And so the nightmare was always me going to go apply for a job, knowing that I didn't want the job, and knowing that I could do the job, but I didn't really want it. And so it was this constant. And anyway, long story short is that I just always forced myself to, like, I just burned the bridges, not the relationships, but I just didn't give myself an option in anything else, even though of course I could, but I forced myself to only do real estate. And I think that's why I made it work, because I didn't have any other option in my mind.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Last question, bro. And I'm so thankful for your time and for your energy and your knowledge, man. The last question is, if you were to lose everything you have, your car, your house, obviously not your family, but money-wise, like business-wise, you lose everything, what would you do? How would you start again? Obviously, you lose your knowledge, but you lose everything else.
That's, to me, that's not really, I'm glad you clarified when you said, if I were to lose everything, the only thing that would just crush me is like, losing my family. That would be it. Besides that, the truth is, it's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't concern me. I don't worry about it at all. To me, it's, for anyone who's watching this, if you're new, the most important thing is that you have to learn. There's certain skills that you have to learn, and it's kind of hard to explain, but it's about discipline and organization and motivation and hunger and ambition and that stuff. And then Like if you have enough of that, then eventually you figure out the how, right? I'll give you an example. Like when I first started in real estate, the truth, I didn't know anyone else in real estate. I didn't know any other investors. I didn't know anybody else. But I knew that I wanted to do it. And the second I made that decision and that commitment, all of a sudden things just started happening. And then I started like randomly almost, I got an email. Hey, there's this club called, the Real Estate Investors Association. And then there's this other thing. And I went, and then next to me was sitting such and such. And then we became great friends. And then we did a deal together. And then it just kind of starts rolling from there. So the idea of losing everything financially doesn't worry me at all, because I think, once you know how to do it, go back again to fitness, right? And I'm not a huge athlete, but to me, fitness is just a great analogy for life.
Yeah.
If somebody, if you put on 10 pounds, but you've already lost 10 pounds before, you know what to do. All you have to do is
just do it
what you did. Yeah, just do what you did before and wait a little bit of time, put your head down, go to work. And then eventually you're going to lose the 10 pounds, right? If you wanted to go run a marathon, a race, a 5K, a 10K, do a triathlon, once you do the first one, that's it. Like, even if you haven't done one in 5 years, if you want to say, hey, I want to do one again, all you have to do is do exactly what you did before and wait a period of time, and it's going to happen again. You're going to get the same results. So, I've been in times where, especially after the financial crash, that was one of my biggest lessons. I mean, everyone lost money at that time, and that's it. You make the money back, and if you know how to make it, you just, that's it.
Start over. Just get over it and start over.
You do it again. That's it.
Yeah.
It's, like when you have a girlfriend, you have your first girlfriend in high school, maybe she dumps you, eventually you get another one, right? And that's it. You did it once, you can do it again. So
exactly. Hey, Juan, thank you so much, man. If somebody were to connect with you, how can they do it? If they wanted to get more information, social media, website, how can they reach you?
Sure. So you can email me at juan.rojas@jprrealestate.com. It's juan.rojas@jprrealestate.com. Or you can call me 786-344-3748.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to help anyone. We're always looking for good people that are looking to get into real estate as realtors. Even though we work as realtors, the goal is still the same as yours, which is to use real estate as a tool to grow capital, right? And to invest in real estate, which is what we know, and to again get out of the rat race. The plan is still the same.
Exactly. Buy rental properties and create financial freedom, passive income, right?
That's it. It's pretty simple.
Juancho, thank you so much, man, for your time, for your energy. I'll always be grateful for everything you did for me when I started. I talk about you all the time and about the story that when I first met you and when you helped me with that first check and the little note that you gave me, man. I'm so grateful for that encouragement. And stay in contact, man. We'll stay in touch. And thank you so much for your time, brother.
Cool, man. Sounds good. You guys keep doing what you're doing. I know you're helping a lot of people. And to anyone who's watching this, Camilo and Michelle are they're great role models. I think a lot of people sometimes focus on the role models that are really far out there. The gazillionaires and the super extreme, fitness models, and only the people driving, Lamborghinis. But sometimes, a good role model is just somebody, like you and I that are just doing the work and seeing the results and living life, and that's reality. So I'm very big on that. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing awesome.
Awesome, man. God bless. Thank you so much, brother. And we'll stay in touch, okay?
Cool, man. Sounds good.
Thank you, Juan. Take care, brother.
Bye.
Bye-bye.